Chief Justice Mogoeng Mogoeng says South Africans must recognize Justice Edwin Cameron for the millions of lives that he has liberated by defending those affected by HIV and AIDS. The Constitutional Court held a special sitting to mark the retirement of Judge Cameron. The judge officially hangs his robe after 25 years as a judge. Cameron worked as a human rights lawyer during apartheid, as well as defended the ANC members. Mogoeng Mogoeng says Justice Cameron spoke openly about his HIV status at the time when it was stigmatized.
I said, have you thought of Edwin Cameron? A brave and bold man. When HIV and AIDS was or attracted stigma, he stood out and declared openly, I'm HIV positive. He knew the attitude of South Africans at the time because nobody had stepped out to prepare them that this is a condition like any other that requires medical attention. He could afford the antiretrovirals, and therefore, like many of us, he could have chosen to mind his own business and care less about others. But not Edwin Cameron. He's not that type. He's never the kind that says, as long as I have my needs met, I'm not going to rock the boat. It really doesn't matter. Why should I tell people about my condition at the risk of being ridiculed? His love for the multitudes of South Africans and many across Africa and beyond could not allow him to shut up.
Reading a letter on behalf of Timothy Dutton, Safo Dias Dutton says Justice Edwin Cameron showed both private and public courage.
Oneself at risk, even mortal risk, for the benefit of others. The courage of Justice Cameron has two aspects to it. There is the public aspect, which manifested itself early. At Oxford, he endured the spying of Boss to try to set up scholarships for non-white Africans. There were other aspects to this public courage. He came out as a gay man, and whilst his application to this court was pending, he publicly declared his HIV status. This public courage reached its apogee in the great speech at the Durban AIDS conference in the year 2000, when Justice Cameron took on the pharmaceutical companies for their iniquitous pricing of antiretroviral drugs. In a lifetime full of courageous battles, this was the most significant. It was the beginning of the battle to make life-saving drugs available to the voiceless and the disadvantaged.
Justice Minister Ronald Lamola hailed Justice Edwin Cameron on the occasion of his send-off at the Constitutional Court, saying that he belongs to an elite group of judges whose judgments will live long after they have passed on.
Cameron, you have been a role model to many, including my own generation and those before me, both as a citizen of our country and as a jurist. With so many challenges in our country, I'm not sure, Justice Cameron, whether to bid you farewell or to welcome you to the list of judges that will be called upon for national duty from time to time. For either in a commission of inquiry or other bodies of national importance. As the saying goes, judges do not retire, as they will always be called upon. Sometimes retired judges becomes more busy than when they were in the bench. Ask your former colleague, Dikgang Moseneke, Justice Yvonne Mokgoro, and many others. For sure, Ntate Moseneke might be considering Lesotho citizenship. A judge does not retire even in his death, as your judgment will speak for generations to come. They will be used for references even long after you have departed this planet, by academics, by our courts, practitioners, and society as a whole. It is worse with you, as you are even an award-winning author. Generations to come will continue to imbue from your knowledge. In short, a judge makes rulings even from the grave. I have no doubt that with the contribution you have made to our jurisprudence, through the judgments and academic papers, you belong to a prestigious group of judges that will rule from the grave by reference.
Speaker of the National Assembly, Tandon Moody, says Judge Cameron helped lift the stigma as well as the ignorance around HIV among South Africans.
The calm and deliberate public stance by Justice Cameron to challenge the negative perceptions and stigmas around HIV and AIDS and around sexuality, to stand alone in his field, to educate and to lead the battle against HIV and AIDS could not have come at a better time. That public stance, that public declaration, earned him our respect and our admiration. Of course, the real beneficiaries of that stance of yours, Chief Justice Cameron, were the faceless thousands of families who are affected by AIDS. That declaration eased the burden of secret pain. It helped lift shame and indignity brought by